A day of history and hope, the beginning of the end of COVID-19 in Australia. Westmead Hospital's stocked up and ready to roll out phase 1 of vaccinations, starting in Sydney tomorrow. Plane passengers forced to sit and watch as an engine burns mid-flight. What's happening below them is almost as scary. Moment of impact, the shocking vision every driver, passenger and pedestrian needs to see. Plus, we hear from Latrell Mitchell after his comeback from injury as cultures clash in the All-Stars match.
This is 9 News with Peter Overton.
Good evening. It's being hailed our COVID comeback. The vaccine produced faster than any the world has seen, administered in Australia for the first time. The rollout kicked off in Castle Hill today. A World War II survivor, the first to be immunised, along with frontline workers and the Prime Minister.
Jane Malashek survived war in Europe, built a life in Australia and today became the first person in this country to get a COVID vaccine.
There we go.
But the 84-year-old warrior is still working on her salute.
B for vaccine. Very good.
In a moment of history and hope, the first Pfizer jabs were dispensed to a handful of the most vulnerable, those on the front line, and to inspire confidence, Australia's chief nurse...
It really doesn't hurt at all.
Chief medical officer...
I'm not asking for anyone to do something that I'm not prepared to do myself.
And Prime Minister.
Well done for you.
From now until the end of October, the rest of the nation will follow.
For what is the biggest vaccination effort our country has ever undertaken.
From tomorrow, there will be 16 vaccination hubs at hospitals across the country. Quarantine, border and health workers will have priority, and there will be 240 sites nationwide to cater to the elderly.
Every day that goes past from here gets more normal.
The rollout will ramp up in late March as millions of doses of the second locally made vaccine, AstraZeneca, come online and GPs and pharmacists join the fight.
Today is about confidence and hope and protection.
With 200 million doses of coronavirus vaccines already dispensed around the globe, there's real-time, real-world evidence that they're safe and effective in preventing serious disease and death. But with such a complex rollout, there will no doubt be many trials and the odd error.
Always front, always front.
As the front line in the long war against the disease gets a new weapon. Chris Ullman, 9 News.
3 of Sydney's biggest hospitals have been transformed into vaccine hubs for tomorrow's rollout. Here's 9's Sophie Walsh.
The first doses of the Pfizer vaccine are now at Westmead Hospital. It's one of 3 vaccination hubs in Sydney offering the COVID jab in the initial phase, along with Liverpool and Royal Prince Alfred hospitals. It will later be expanded to Hornsby, St George and Nepean hospitals. And when vaccines are more readily available, some workplace vaccination sites and chemists will be added to the list. 35,000 critical staff in New South Wales will be first to be jabbed starting tomorrow. Aged care residents and staff are also front of the queue. The vaccine will be administered on site at facilities in 19 suburbs across the city, from Narrabeen and Warriewood in the north to Blacktown and Penrith in the west, and Peakhurst and Mortdale in the south.
It's an exciting day. I'd be lying if I didn't say we were a bit nervous, but we were fine. We pulled through. The stock has arrived and we're excited that we're ready to go.
The next phase will include people over the age of 70, other health workers, critical and high-risk employees like police officers, firefighters and meat processing staff will also be part of the next rollout. Healthy adults and children under 18 will be given the shot last. All phases should be complete by the end of October.
Sophie, thank you. A routine police patrol in Bankstown has potentially saved a man's life. CCTV shows a group of men fighting just after 1:30 a.m. Then police drive past, shining their headlights on them. 4 men quickly flee, followed by officers carrying their torches. The footage was captured moments after a 25-year-old was dragged from his car and stabbed in what detectives allege was a random attack. He's tonight in a stable condition. 2 men have been charged, the others remain on the run. There are fresh fears over the Duke of Edinburgh's condition after an emotional Prince Charles visited his sick father. Carrie-Anne Greenbank is at King Edward VII's Hospital in London for us tonight. Kari, how long did Prince Charles spend at the hospital?
Well, Pete, Prince Charles spent around half an hour inside the hospital visiting his father, but it's understood he made a 4-hour round trip to get here from his home in Gloucestershire, so it was more than just a passing visit. He also would have needed approval from the hospital because in the midst of England's third national lockdown, all visitors are banned unless there are exceptional circumstances. So, fresh fears about the seriousness of Prince Philip's condition, but Buckingham Palace is adamant that he remains in hospital because of an abundance of caution due to his doctors, and he is in good spirits. Still, Pete, he was only meant to be here a few days. It is now the 5th night, and it is anticipated that Prince Philip will be remaining in hospital into the coming week.
Kari-Anne Greenbank from London, thank you. 5 teenagers have been arrested after a car chase in Sydney's southwest. Exclusive video shows that